everyone, welcome to another session of our in our school. So, by the way, my name is Desiree Dalisay. I'm from the Upper School Department of School of St. Anthony that will be teaching research mathematics and science. But for today's discussion, I will be having Google Jamboard. So it's one of the applications that you can use for your online classes. Okay, so now let's start exploring Google Jamboard. So what is Google Jamboard? So Google Jamboard is a collaborative digital whiteboard that makes it easy for us educators to share visual aids or visuals to our students, and they can reply, or we can or our feedback real time. Okay? Now it has a desktop and mobile version as of 2020. Now, here are some uses of Google Jamboard in education. So it can be used as an alternative classboard for our online classes, because traditionally we are very fond of using classroom boards or blackboards or glassboards in SSA, and we use it to facilitate learning as well as to write solutions, notes, etc. So one thing that I love with Google Jamboard is all our works can be saved in cloud. So our cloud here is the Google Drive. And this digital whiteboard can be shared through Google Links. Now these links, a little reminder teachers, you cannot share your links. If you use your School of St. Anthony email address, you cannot share these links out email. Now, you cannot share these links to the email addresses that are outside our domain. And also, collaborative work on the spot can be achieved. Okay, so you can ask your students to answer it right away when you have Google Jamboard. Now, what are the features of Google Jamboard desktop version? So, in this discussion, I'll be focusing more on the desktop version of Google Jamboard. So, when you have your Google Jamboard, or when you have jamboard.google.com in your URL, and you do not have any existing jams, you will be having, or you will be seeing this one. Okay, if you click the plus sign here, it will lead you to an untitled jam. So we call the frames, or we call the boards here as jam, or one file is a jam. Now I'll be discussing the buttons later. Okay, so what are the features of Google Jamboard mobile version? So I also have a mobile version downloaded in my phone, so it looks like this one. Okay, so in this part, this is where the students will see the jams that you share with them, and this one is an untitled jam. So there is this one Google Jamboard that in the mobile version that allows them to convert the scribbles that they have into actual text. Okay, so if their phones have stylus, then it will be easier for them to write, of course. Now let's have the demonstration of Google Jamboard. Okay, so let me just prepare the Jamboard that I have here. Okay, so I do not have any jams yet, so you just click the plus sign there and it will give you an untitled jam. Now, what I've learned from the webinars I've attended, especially the one with Habi Network, so you need to create a title first for you to be organized. So for example, this one, I will have a trial Jamboard. Okay, and click OK. So this one is already saved in your Google Drive. Now let's explore the buttons here. So first, we have the background. So by the way, teachers, I'll be using a graphic tablet for easier writing. So we have here background, so you can choose from backgrounds here. Clear frame, when you click clear frame, all of your writings will be erased, so it will give you a new frame. Now we have the buttons here. You have this one is pen, So you can choose what type of pen you want. So you have pen, marker, highlighter, brush, and different colors. This one, we have erase. So for the erase function, if you're using graphic pens, they already have an erase function. So you can always explore your graphic pens. And we have here select. This one is sticky note. Later on, I'll teach you how to use that. We have Google Image, or you can upload image, Google Image search, or you use your Google Drive. And we have here the laser function if you wanted to emphasize something. Okay, now let's have a demonstration of a lesson in math first. So I wanted my students to learn how to graph, for example. Okay, so let me just have a Cartesian plane. Okay, so if you're going, let me just search this one. Okay, select. So for this session, I wanted them to learn how to graph. So simple graphing. So let's say that I wanted them to graph point A. So point A is -2, 4. Okay. So -2 is the x, and you have there 4. So this is your point here. If you wanted perfect circles, of course, you can search it through the Google image search. So this is point A. Now let's have another. Let's take for example point B. And point B is 0, 5. Okay, let's use another color. So let's use red. Okay, so that's 0, 5. Okay, so here is your point B. Okay, so that's one application of Jamboard. Now, if you wanted to have another frame, for example, everything is full, okay, or your board is already full, you can have another frame without deleting your first note, so that your student understand the flow of your lesson. So let's have another one. Now let's try having an example using cells, because I used to teach general biology 2. Okay, animal cell naming, forgot blank. So this is an activity. Let's say that you already taught them how to name there. So here, okay, we will not expect students to write properly using their phones or using their mouse. Now this is the time where you can use your sticky note. Let's say for example, I ask one student to write something, or to name an organelle here. So let's take for example cell membrane. So actually, teachers, you can have you can prepare the sticky notes ahead of time. But for this one, it depends upon what grade level. So for grade 12, of course, they already know organelles there. You can ask them to write on the sticky note and to drag it. So you can drag this one. You just click select and you drag. So cell membrane is here. Okay. Now let's have another one. So you can choose another column. Let's have mitochondria, which is the powerhouse of the cell. Now, if you can have, so mitochondria is here. Okay, and it will be a simple recitation for your students. So you can have participation. You can let them answer real time. So just share the link with them. So last one, we have here for English or social sciences or SOCSI teachers. You can use this one. I wanted to know whether my students, or what activities my students did when they have the quarantine. So you can use a hashtag quarantines in Facebook or in Twitter, for example. So let's search for an image about quarantine. Okay, so we have here, yeah, coronavirus quarantine. And with this image, you let them write 3 words or 3 things that they did when they are locked during quarantine. So let's have sleep. They love sleeping, of course. Watching movies, animes, for example, and doing chores. Okay, so you can solicit ideas from your students. Of course, this is very um what do you call this? This is very basic. So you can have political issues. You can have other things. For example, what do you expect, or what are your expectations with this subject? So you can use this type of um, activity with your students, and every one of them will be writing their own opinions real time. So I think Google will not crash because they can support up to 100 persons um, simultaneously during Google Meet, and I think it is the same with Jamboard. Now you can have your sleep watch, chores, for example. What else? Sorry. You can also have uh, you can have eat, cook, and study, for example. So you can also change this one. Yeah. So with this, students will be more um, into your lesson because they know that they will be participating in some activities during their classes. Okay, I think this is everything that I've done. But before that, if you wanted to share this one, this is true for all Google links that you're going to have, teachers. Don't forget to change the restriction of your files. So you can have this changed to anyone with the link. Yeah. So you have there the link, you copy the link and you post it on your Google Classroom ahead of time before your classes so that they can be used during your discussion. Okay? But I think with good internet connection, they can always view this one. Of course, for those who are absent, they can also view your notes. Okay? I think these are the things that essential for you to learn with this Google um, Jamboard. And yeah, so that's the end of my demonstration. So if you have questions, teachers, you can always reach me out using this contact details if you have questions about Jamboard. You can explore also Jamboard on your own if you wish to do so. And I hope that you learn something. You can also explore other G Suite apps that are already paid by our school, of course. So we should use those apps. Okay, so God bless you and happy learning.